because I think it might be useful for others to watch this back at some point. So yes, we're here to talk about the 12-hour online challenge. Oh yes. I've been wanting to do this for ages, and originally had it booked in the church hall in November. That's when we were going to do it.
Oh wow.
And last week, literally, I was talking to Jane Evans. I'm just going to mute you ladies just for a second whilst I'm talking, and then I'll open this up for Q&A and stuff in a moment. Okay, so I decided, I'd got the message from Jane that I posted in the email that you all received, and it really got to me, and she and I have been in contact quite regularly, and you know, when you read messages like that, suddenly your problems pale into insignificance to a certain extent. And because St George's Hospital is one of the charities that we've supported since we started the group training, in my back of my mind I was like, I really want to do something. It was all very well going out and clapping in the streets, and that's lovely and really nice that they know, but I thought that there must be a way that we can do something better. And that's when my little imagination started playing with me, and I suddenly thought, actually, the online classes are going really well. The members kind of know everyone knows what they're doing now. So is that Sue joining us? I can't tell. Oh no, it's like Sue. I can't tell. So I just thought, why don't we just take the 12-hour challenge I had planned for November at the church hall, and we'll just bring it forward. And so we're going to be doing it 4 weeks on Saturday. Well, actually it's 3 and a bit weeks now. So the classes are going to run back to back. So it's going to start at 7:30 in the morning. I'm teaching the first 2 classes, and then I'll be teaching the final. I've got the coaches lined up to teach in blocks of 2 hours throughout the day. So, I mean, it's really simple. Basically, you just decide which, how many you think you can commit to. I am going to try and do all the 8 that I am not going to be teaching in. And wow, that is a big challenge. But I figure in my head, I've taught an 8-hour spin where I was actually taking part before. So I figure that I'm up for this challenge, and I'm sure it's going to be exhausting, but I have to remember in the back of my head, nothing is going to be more exhausting than what our frontline workers are having to deal with at the moment. And that will be my driving force. And also I have osteoarthritis in my left hip, and I've been told that the only cure is a hip operation. But weirdly, since I've been doing our online classes, instead of when I'm not teaching, my hip has been so much better. So I'm really pleased with the fact that I seem to have more strength in my leg, and it's not playing up as much as it was. So for me, I have set myself, I basically, for my training plan, I have broken it down into the next 3 weeks, because I figure from now and for the next 3 weeks, so from Tuesday to next Tuesday to the following Tuesday to the following Tuesday, that is kind of the training time I've got left before I then need to rest on the Tuesday through to the Saturday, because you want to have your body as fresh as possible for the challenge. So because I'm doing 8 sessions, the goal is to try and build. I mean, I've been doing I'm pretty much exercising every day anyway, but what I'm now trying to do, what I'm now building in are chunks where I'm doing 2 sessions back to back. So this morning I did the 2 morning classes. But next week, what I'll be doing is doing evening class and then waking up and doing a morning class. so that I'm kind of building up my stamina to be able to do the 8 classes back to back. The good news about each class on the day is they will be very similar to the classes that we run at on a weekly basis. So you're not going to be exercising for the full hour. It's very likely the class is probably going to last around 45 minutes. And then we will have to have a changeover time. So you don't have to be too frightened at the thought of doing back-to-back classes, because there will be the opportunity to have a little bit of rest time. I've yet to decide with the coaches, and I'll be talking to Michelle and the team about whether we make you exercise for 32 minutes or the 24. To be decided. But either way, there will be a small break between each class to allow the changeover from one class to another. In order to book your classes, you're going to do the same thing that you normally do. You can literally go into the app now, book the classes that you want to do, and then you need to start thinking about what your training can look like, bearing in mind most of you are all still working. You know, fortunately, because I run a fitness business, I haven't really got much excuse not to fit in the training time, but a lot of you have got families and other commitments, whereas fitness, my husband and my dog are pretty much my main commitments at the moment, because I can't even see my family. So so yeah, so I basically, that is all I need to tell you. Obviously we have our Virgin Money giving page. I would love to be able to raise £5,000. We raised last year 14,500 doing 3 challenges. And I feel that really there isn't any reason why every member can't get involved and do at least one class. I mean, I know I've got a few of you here today, but there's over 200 of us at the moment. And so my goal is to try and encourage everybody to do at least one class, if not more, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, so I think it's just now spread the word. I'm trying to get some press coverage. I am, I've got St George's Hospital, they're just helping me with the press release. So we'll see if we can just really raise the bar for those frontline workers and do what us WAFAs do best, which is just support, motivated and drive forward. So that is pretty much all I have to say, so other than whether you've got questions. So I think the easiest thing to do is unmute yourself if you have a question, or if you want to, I think you can raise your hand and then I can unmute you. Has anyone got any questions? No questions. Nobody's got one question for me. Lorna does. Thank God. Well done, Lorna. Get that list out of questions, right? Lorna, which one is it? Number 1 first, yeah?
Hang on a second. Let me find my list. Which question did you tell me to ask? So my gut feeling is to try and do as many as I can. But I guess I'm slightly hesitant about saying I'll do all 12, but I would like to be able to do all of them. And I just don't know whether you would recommend that somebody does all of them, or whether you would always recommend that somebody take like at least 2 breaks during the day.
And if my job is to provide Lorna with food, does that count?
Hang on a second. Let me answer Lorna's question first, and then I'll come to other questions. So I've done 2 spinathons, and one of them they'd organized a 12-hour spinathon, and there were guys who were extremely conditioned doing it, and they were absolutely exhausted by the end of it. I personally think there is nothing to stop you from having a go. It will be really, really tough, but I guess you have to go at a pace that you think is manageable. I mean, I wouldn't recommend you go all out like you would do if you were doing a 9:30 class. I would suggest that you would probably want to take it back, because this is about endurance. This isn't about you doing a HIIT session. This will be about endurance. So the training that the exercise you do throughout the day, you want to pace yourself, a bit like running a marathon. My view is you do it, you say you're going to do 12 and see how you go, but what you don't want to do is get to 6 hours and feel you've failed because you've not done the full 12 hours. Because in all fairness, you've only got 3 weeks to get ready for this. Whereas if we were doing it in November, you would have 3 months to train for it, in which case I'd be like, yeah, no problem, do the 12 hours. I don't know if that helped really.
Yeah, no, it does.
I think for me personally, I think for me to just be able to do 8 hours is going to be enough, in all honesty, for me. But I think because I'm going to be teaching 4 hours as well, that requires quite a bit of energy as well in itself. I don't know, let's just go for it, see what happens. What's the worst thing that can happen?
A collapse.
Well, no, I don't. Yeah, and unfortunately, I can't come to help you with that.
Can I ask a question, please?
You can, just bear with me 2 seconds. Who's this, Lou?
That's Lou.
Lou, 2 seconds. Can I just go to Catherine?
Yeah.
Where's she got? Oh, there she is. Hang on a second.
Oh no, mine's a stupid question. I said if Lorna's going to do 12 hours worth, if I bring her food for 12 hours, does that count? Lou, you go.
Well, actually, that's a very good point. We will need fueling, Catherine. So if you're happy to provide, that would be great. But hopefully I'm expecting you to actually do the exercises, not be providing the food.
Yeah, I'm in for at least 6.
Good. Okay, so will you do back to back, or do one, have a break, do another, have a break?
I'll probably do 2, take a break, 2, take a break, and then the final 2.
Good. Okay, that sounds sensible. Hang on, right, over to Lou.
I thought I might do every other one, but I'm probably being a bit thick, but I'm struggling a little bit with the concept of this, because you're saying you got 200 members and you want everybody to do at least one. Great, but I'm struggling is how we sell this out as a charity, people to sponsor us. So now if I'm going to do 6, that's fine, but if somebody else is only going to do 1, why would someone be sponsored just to do 1 HIIT session, so to speak? I just need to get it straight in my head. Why? I love the idea of it, why it's so wow, except for the people who are really going to really go for it. Does that make sense?
My answer to that is I can't imagine anyone's just going to do 1. And if anyone does do 1, it's up to them to try and get the fundraising for it.
Yeah.
And not only that, I think it's you going to your network of friends and saying, we're doing a 12-hour online challenge, and I am committing to 6 hours of that challenge to exercise.
Mm.
When I
think it's always
people will give you money, because when I did the spinathon, I know it's the only kind of thing I can kind of relate to, because it was 8 hours. I did the 8 classes, I taught them, and I cycled for 8 hours. It was ridiculous. I was absolute wreck by the end of it. But people were coming in and doing 1, 2 classes, and that was it. And yet a friend who had organised it, she raised £10,000.
Wow.
So, people, if it's a good cause, hopefully, I know people are struggling at the moment financially, I get that, but a pound is a pound, right?
Yeah. No, I'm not dissing it. I'm just trying to think. Okay, so if you go to the Virgin, have you set up the
It's the same one we had last year. It's in the link in the email.
Yeah. So have you? I should read that and see what you have said as your spiel, to see what the sales pitch is. Yeah,
that would be wonderful. I probably need to amend it. I'm going to add in Jane's quote, actually. because I think that's probably the most powerful thing I read when I read the reality of what she's dealing with on a daily basis. So I will update it, but it's all there in the email.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Right, who's next? Emma?
Hello.
Hi.
Just a question about fuel, because if you know how competitive I am, so I will want to do as many as I can, and I'll probably be having a chat with Lorna offline, because like to have challenges with Lorna. But I would really appreciate if you could think about some kind of guidance for what would be really sensible to fuel ourselves throughout the day for those of us who are doing quite a lot and maybe not taking as many breaks, because obviously I'm quite conscious that we'll need to do stuff but not eat too much because
yes you don't want to. You want to be eating little and often, and not big bulky foods. So you don't want to be eating, if you're going to be jumping around or doing squats, the last thing you want to do is have a load of a big sort of flapjack sitting in your stomach. It's got to be stuff that's easily digestible. Now, the good news is, and I think you'd already bought a ticket for this on the sports nutrition talk.
Yeah.
So I'm in discussion with Vicky about doing an online chats and bubbles. And she has said yes, and she's going to adapt the presentation so that she can advise us all on how we should fuel for the event. So I think you bought a ticket, so I need to sort out people who bought tickets, because this is going to be open to everybody. So I'll sort that out separately. But we are looking at, I think it was the 21st of April. Tuesday, which is a Tuesday evening that she can do. So I can give you some suggestions. I mean, for me, I would probably be just drinking liquid for most of the day, and avoiding sort of foods that are going to sit in my stomach for a long periods of time. But if I'm completely honest, that how I would choose to do it is not from an expert. So if you can wait until the 21st, Vicky will give us a complete lowdown on all of that.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Thank you.
Pleasure. I'm loving the fact you're going to do 12 hours. You're going to try 12 hours.
I don't know. You see, that I wasn't going to. Now you've said, will you do it? I'm like, oh, damn.
I mean, if Jane says she's doing 14-hour shifts sometimes at St. George's, I kind of think, we can probably do it, Anyway.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it'd be interesting to know when you decide how many reps we're going to be doing of each one. I think that will be kind of a big factor.
It will be like that. We're going to keep. I'm going to discuss this with the team. I think the plan is, though, to keep the format simple. So we're going to stick to 40 seconds with 20 seconds rest.
Okay,
but I've said to the coaches that they can decide what exercises they want the participants to do in their classes. So we get some variety throughout the day, and they can choose how they structure the class as well. But I think for all of us, it's about simplicity rather than overcomplicating things.
Great. Okay,
anyone else? Bianca? Oh, hang on, Bianca. I'm loving this. I've got the control. I love it. Hello. Oh, I haven't unmuted. Oh, hang on. Sorry. Hello.
Hello. So, quick question around the format, which you kind of just touched on there. Given obviously we're all kind of remote doing this, is it going to be possible to kind of get an idea of the formats that the coaches have decided, just so we can make sure that we've got the relevant improvised equipment to hand if we're doing different classes and stuff?
All the equipment that I think, bear in mind, most people have got the equipment they have now. It will just have that all to hand, and at the beginning the coaches will say to you, you're going to need 2 dumbbells or 2 weights for your hands, if you've got resistance bands or need the resistance bands. So I think just treat it very much like you would a class and have your equipment to hand.
And I got another quick question about throughout the day, because normally if we were doing this in the hall, we'd be taking it in turns to like doing filming and keeping it on social media and pumping it and everything like that. Is there going to be, are you like enlisting anyone to do that, or is Chris getting that job, or? I just thought of an idea how we can keep it.
We've got the coaches. We've got the coaches. We've got I've got Charlotte, who's helping me with social media, so she's going to be on hand throughout the day. So we will have again, I guess the thing that we're now in the pro stage of looking at is this sort of stuff, and how we actually, because what I'd like to be able to do is potentially invite friends to come in and watch if they can, or to in some way feel like they are involved. Now, I certainly think that if your families are at home with you training, there is no reason why they can't join you in the exercises for a class. I think that's a really nice thing. That would be a really nice thing to do. You know, but equally, I'm trying to figure out, well, again, I'll be working with Lorna on this to figure out, there must be a way that we can do it so that people can somehow or other kind of watch what's happening. There'll be lots of live coverage going on, but that's all to be decided.
Yeah. And then
what we'll do is we'll have hashtags and we'll get all of that set. We'll have because I only decided that we were doing this last week.
Never.
We are like everything at the moment. We will. This is the stuff now we need to start thinking about, is the logistics. So we'll probably send you all a message in the next couple of weeks about the logistics of it. The important thing for you at the moment is you needed to start thinking about how many classes you want to do. And also then realistically what you want to do over the next 3 weeks to prepare your body for those classes.
Mm-hmm. And I think just one more point, going back to Lou as well, when she was saying like if one person only does one class and then someone's doing 12 classes, I think the way to kind of promote this is I'm putting myself up as part of my WAFA group to do this, but we're raising funds collectively. So whether I do one and Anna does 12, we're doing this as a collective rather, and this is why we're doing it.
I don't think you need to worry too much about people's perception of them not contributing to you, because I think as soon as you say I'm doing, like I said to Lou, you know, if you say I'm doing 6 hours of the 12-hour workout, that's quite a lot. That's a lot of that's, you know, people, that's like a marathon. So I think you'll be pleasantly surprised that people will be happy to contribute.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Kat?
I just thought you might have already covered this, so I'm trying to think in my head how many I could commit to. So if I did 6, say, I'm not saying I'm going to, do you think it'd be better to do 6 in a row, or do one have a break throughout the whole day?
I think that in order to feel like you have pushed yourself, that you should try to do some back, because I think that is quite a challenge, isn't it? If you do, because you're used to doing one class, and then you're giving yourself only an hour, right? Granted, but you're giving yourself time to recover. I think you've been doing the WAFA classes for a while now, so I think you could potentially look at doing 2, have an hour break, do another 2, have a 2-hour break, and I think doing the back-to-back, it just kind of gives you that little bit more of a challenge.
And there was one other thing, and I don't know, so I live in an upstairs flat, and I have no access to outside space, so I'm really enjoying the classes, but I'm struggling to warm up because I'm very conscious about jumping up and down in my living room. So just kind of it wasn't really a question, but just a point, to kind of warm-ups that are lower impact would be very helpful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the thing is, when the coaches are sort of running on the spot, the easy thing to do is just march on the spot. But yeah, I totally get that. So I'll bear that in mind for sure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Anyone else? Oh, Claire. Hello. Oh, can you? I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? I can't hear you. Can anyone else hear Claire? No, we can't hear you, Claire. Do you want to type your question? Type your question. If you go to the, I don't know whether you're looking on a mobile or on the laptop, if you go to the bottom of the screen, there's a chat box and you can type a question in there. Anyone else got any other questions whilst we're... Lorraine, how's the guitar? Oh, yeah, sorry, Maria. Sorry, I'll ask you about the guitar, but well, never mind, we won't now. Hi, Maria.
Hello. Hi, you okay?
Yes, all good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you. Really well. Now, I don't know if I missed this part, but are the classes now for the second sort of, we can book them now, can we?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah. Lovely. So we just go into
the app as you would. Most of the other when you're doing your normal WAFA classes, you get 2-week window, but here it's just book yourself in.
Brilliant. Lovely. Thank you.
It will also get us to get a gauge of how many WAFAs are hiding from us.
Yeah.
And avoiding getting involved.
Thank you.
Yeah, so no worries. Claire's question, if I committed to say 4 classes, but on the day felt I could do more, would that be possible? Yeah, of course. Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. Claire, you could definitely do more than 4 classes. You're fitter than you think. And I can't hear you, so there you go. I reckon, yeah, I think you could do 6, definitely. If not more. But yeah, I agree. If it feels comfortable and you're a bit worried about it, but I think you can do 6. I know you can, actually. It's not think, it's I know. Anyone else?
Yeah, is there a 6:40 class now?
6:40?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I'm booked in, but I might go and book it and do it now.
Yes.
Right, better go. See ya.
Right, well, ladies, I think that's it. I think we're all done. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, Anna.
And I will and we'll see you in class. Bye.
Bye.